G'day guys, and welcome back to the channel. Well, it's a little bit cool in here today. A bit of a change went through in last 24 hours, and in the workshop at the moment it's 8 or 10 degrees, so I've got the flanny on today, so yeah, it's a little bit cool. What we're doing this one is a customer's request, is just a service on a very nice NAD stereo system. The amp, what have I got here? The amp, the CD player, the tape player, and the tuner. Now, the speakers, of course, we've got them here. And with the speakers, normally the thing that happens is the contacts coming off. But I'm not going to go into that. The customer wants to do that himself. So I'll leave that up to him. Here's the amp. I'll give us a look at it. That's what we're dealing with. I can get it in the frame. There we go. That's it. A very basic, straightforward amp. Heavy as anything. The back of it, very nice layout, very nice piece of gear. And yeah, these things were really well made. So I'm pleased that he's had the sense to get this serviced and put back into operation rather than scrap the thing, which would be terrible. It's NAD Electronics Incorporated, Boston, London. This one is a 3220 PE model, so that's what we're looking at there. Very nicely made. Just the whole thing, I'm not sure whether everything works or not. He wants it serviced, so whether or not the amp is complete, but of course we'll take the top off. We'll clean, we'll give him a little bit of a test. We'll clean all the pots, switches, etc. Make sure the amp's right, hook it up to the speakers, and then we'll test the other units with this unit, with the amp. Okay, let's get started on this fella. So first things first, give him a little bit of a clean to get the dust off. Apparently this hasn't been used for some time by the look of it. Let's get the top off. As I said, with these things, boy, back in the day, they made quality and they made things so nice to work on. When you had to do a service on something, work on it, etc. How good is this? The right to repair, which we seem to have totally lost altogether. Okay. Let's have a look and see what's inside. Back and up. There we go. Okay. This is what we have. A little bit dusty inside. I'll probably get the compressed air and lightly give him dust off. A couple of sus-looking caps there, but it's probably only the old glue that's causing a problem. But yeah, it probably is. It's starting to corrode there a little bit, and the same with the filter caps down here. A little bit of corrosion just at the front of them, but not too bad overall. I see a little suspect in here. Maybe this amp is not working. Okay, let's take a closer look. Now, down in here, if we move that resistor away, there's a resistor in here. You might be able to see him. And he's got a little burn mark on him. I don't know whether you can see him. He's right in there. And there he is. So a little bit of an interesting find there. Looks like he's fairly badly burnt, but let's clean him up. I might see, can I round up a manual for this and see what function that resistor has. There's 2 power regs here, maybe a plus minus rail for the preamp section, so forth. I'm not sure. That we'll have to get a diagram here or further investigations. Down in amongst there, we've just got some old glue once again. Could be becoming conductive, but probably not causing any problems down in there. But up here, yeah, little bit of a hassle there. Possibly a little bit more of a hassle will be, I wasn't told whether this thing was working or not, but we can see this resistor here, totally burnt. And that's in the driver stage. There's a driver transistor there, pre-driver here, audio pre-driver, and he's burnt as well. So not sure what he is. On the other side, we don't have this. Yes, we do have the same arrangement. And yes, looky here. Here we've got, here's me, the screwdriver. Here we've got the driver, transistor, pre-driver, and an almost cooked resistor on this side. Okay, a little bit more investigation on this fella. Certainly a little bit more than meets the eye with this amp. Obviously, the place to start to get things moving. Otherwise, well, the system's not much good without the amp, and we certainly want to use the original. So give it a dust down and try and find a circuit for this and see how we go from there. A little bit of a challenge with this one. Okay, well, thank you to Hi-Fi Engine on the internet. We've rounded up a full service manual on this fella. Now, we've identified the burnt resistor, which I'm just I've got the bottom off actually. I've just taken the bottom off, and I've unsoldered the resistor down here, and yeah, that's doesn't look real good. So, according to our parts list, it is R501, which is over here, is actually a 0.22 ohm fusible resistor. So he burns up for a reason, and there's obviously something else wrong down the track. Now, the other one beside him does look a bit burnt. It is a 6.8K. I don't think there is any problems with him. Let's have a look. Looking for 6.8 and yeah, 6.93. So there's no problems with the other resistor, which is beside that fella. So that fusible has gone for a reason. So there's 2 power supplies here. There's a plus supply and a minus supply. Which one are we after here? We're after the 270 ohm resistor. on the inside. Let's go back to the circuit. R503, a 270 ohm that supplies the base of that transistor. Once again, yeah, we'll check these transistors and see how we go. But yeah, this is the one that's burnt. Okay, let's go back and have a bit more of a look at what's happening here. So we've got a PTC in here. We've got quite a big diode there, and Q5. We've got Q505 on a heatsink, and these two here. I think what's throwing us here is this PTC. He's reading 99. Well, it's reading actually between the emitter and the base of that transistor is actually reading 119 ohms, and that's a 120. So that's about normal. We've done the transistor, reads fine. There's some of you guys out there will know what's wrong with this, and it'll be just second nature to you. But I haven't worked on one of these things for years and years, and yeah, not real sure about them. PTC on this side, which is the side that's operating normally. And can we get a connection there? Yeah, it's very low ohms. 0.4. Okay. So maybe, I don't know, but maybe we'll replace the 270 ohm resistor. I don't know what's happened here, but maybe we'll replace the 270 in there and give him a little bit of juice and see how we go. Now we're also dealing with a couple of other burnt resistors, which are 68 ohm ones. This one here's been very hot, rather, a 438 and a 437, 68 ohm feed resistors, been very hot, but I think it's only the heat. They both read spot on. So let's replace the 270 ohm and gently bring up some power to this baby and see if we can see anything happening. Righto, guys. Well, we've got him all the parts put back in, and I've got it on dim bulb. A Variac will increase the power and see what happens to the little beast. I really, I'm a little bit confused as to what's gone wrong with this amp, with that resistor. Maybe the resistor failed. Maybe it was driven too hard, shorted speakers, so forth. But you would have thought other damage would have been caused from that. Now, this doesn't have a speaker relay. So, yeah, there's no relay to click in. But anyway, we'll take our voltage up. And at the moment, we're sitting on, and we'll take him up to 100. There we go. And I don't see any smoke coming out. Not yet. Turn him on. He's on. There isn't any smoke. Okay. So far, so good. There we go. We have some voltage on, we have plus 15 and we have minus 15. Minus 15 and plus 15. That's our rail on the output transistors. Let's increase. Let's go up to 150. And our rail is plus 20. minus 20. All seems normal. All seems very normal. Nothing running hot. Now our little resistor we replaced. Got to be careful where I'm putting my hand here. 20 on this side. It is minus 20. Everything appears normal. Okay, let's take her up. On 200 volts there. And our rail is 26 and minus 26. So our power supply is working normal. So what the hell was wrong with this? Why did that resistor go? I don't quite understand. 2692, 26, yeah, a little bit of difference there, but all seems normal on the home front. We might even hook some speakers into this thing soon. Okay, let's take her up. Dim bulb cut in, and we're doing just on 15 watts there. We're on 240 volts. We've got a rail of 31 showing some AC content. We've got 29 showing some AC content. Minus 31. And what sort of AC level have we got on there? Bugger all. That's a fairly clean supply. There's nothing there. Now our speaker connector on the back of this, just while we're doing this, just got to be very careful in around here. We've got AC fuses along here with different voltage, the voltage selector, so forth. So, wow, what a dangerous setup that is. But anyway, we've just got to be careful. Very careful. Just making sure there's no voltage on the speaker lines. There's nothing there. I think we're pretty right there. Okay. So back to 14. Flicker into gear. Dim bulb comes up, goes out. 33. And minus 33. Things are looking okay. Let's hook up some speakers. I've turned him off. Let's hook up some speakers to it and see what happens. Right, got the speakers all hooked up. Switch my dim bulb back on. Power on. Dim bulb. Faded out. Looks good. Okay. Now, we'll go phono. Have we got any noise? Don't hear anything. Have we got speaker switches on this? So I'll feed an input into this. That one? Yes. And if I get you back here, you'll see my dim bulb. All is working. Okay, all is working. I've got my source coming in from another tuner above the bench, and at the moment we're on auxiliary CD. I'll switch him to tuner and we'll check our tuner input to make sure all this is working. Okay, tuner. And our tuner's working. Our tape monitor. Let's try tape in and make sure he's working. Okay. That's no worries. And phono, well, it'll be a distorted mess, but it'll tell us whether the input's working. So we'll just go to phono. And here on Triple M. Coming up next, give us a call 1-333. Yeah, it's a distorted mess. Sports quiz. There's a bit of everything. But that's certainly working nicely. Okay, so I don't know why that resistor burnt. I don't know whether it was overload, whether there's something else wrong. These caps are fine. They've been tested. They're fine. Everything else is fine in here. There's no other problems that I can see anywhere. So we're just going to, well, we'll leave it as is as far as the electronics. The voltages are spot on. Everything's right. The next thing to do, we'll give the pots and the switches a spray and make sure that he's nice and quiet on all of those. Okay, well, we've sprayed them. Now, these little switches, they do have a little slot right up in the top, but are basically, well, supposed to be sealed. There's not much you can do with them. These ones, it'll soak in. That'll be fine. And, well, these ones are easy enough to get to. So that's about the best we can do as far as the switches are concerned. Once again, if you're working on these, don't grab it by this back corner. Fuses, all the way along there, 240. Sits right on these fuses. Turn him on. Yes, look at that. Now, my output, we'll go back and check all the pots. And we'll go CD auxiliary in, like so.
Live the lifestyle you want without worrying about the future. Step up and take control of
left to right is working nicely. You can't hear that, but I can hear it in the background. Treble. Working nicely. Bass. Working nicely. Low level. More assaults and more counts of theft. Just it looks like it drops it by about 20 dB by the look of that. Mono stereo switch, which is not working in this instance anyway. Phono, tuner, and we'll just flick through these a bit. But anyway, I'm happy with this amp. We'll now set it up back on the bench here, and we'll put some input leads in it, and then get the other NAD gear and use this fella as our amp and check the rest of the units. Thank God we come to the end of this one. Such a simple thing. Okay, we'll put him together and put him back there on the bench, get him ready to go. Now, before we connect up the amp, just as a matter of interest, this is one of the speakers. Now, it's a, I'm not familiar with these, Richter, Richter, R-I-C-H-T-E-R. Obviously, a pretty smick speaker system. I'll have to do a little bit of research on this one and find out exactly what it is. We've got It's Richter or Richter Acoustics, and it's Lot 3, Pleasure Point Road, Pleasure Point, 2170, Sydney, Australia. And it actually has the serial number. So these speakers were made in Sydney, Australia. And yeah, we'll probably do a little bit of polishing up here, but I thought I'd show you this before I actually hook them up to my amp setup on the bench here, or the NAD amp. So I just thought I'd show you. So removable front, well, it's sort of removable. It is with a bit of force, but it's supposed to pop off like this. And there we have it. Tweeter. And it looks like an 8-inch woofer. The foam surround is still very good. There's no problems with that. That's a very nice speaker setup, actually. Very nice. These must have been reasonably high end in their day. They're a very, very nice speaker setup. So that's what you'll be hearing when we hook up the NAD amplifier. My customer gave me these speakers with the amp and all the other units. So obviously it all goes as a pack. But there's the logo. I'm not familiar with them at all. But certainly the weight and the quality of these speakers is absolutely very, very nice. Little problems, of course, with contact. Customer said he's going to work that out, as I mentioned earlier. So, okay, we'll set these two up on the bench with the amp in the background there and then start on the next unit.